Northwest Honor Flight provides veterans a chance to remember the brothers who fought and fell beside them.
It's a relief. Come out and say goodbye and touch the wall.
It really is a big deal for me and for my family.
It allows our veterans to walk amongst the memorials that pay tribute to the greatest generation, fading in numbers, but leaving a lasting legacy.
All of those people that lost their lives for our country, pretty amazing.
The fighters from a past not forgotten, but quietly slipping into history as the men and women who were there say goodbye.
We'll go ahead and start our journey to the gate.
After 2 years of silence, they fly again. Nearly 100 men and 1 woman warrior are remembered and find their place on a different front line, one of honor. Welcome to a KREM 2 special, Honor Flight. Welcome home. Thank you for joining us. I'm Laura Papetti. This special is dedicated to Inland Northwest Honor Flight and all the veterans served by the group. The nonprofit invited KREM 2 to fly with nearly 100 men and 1 woman who helped change our world by serving our country. This special is to give them a voice and to raise awareness and money so the group continue to fly on. It was certainly a tough couple of years as all flights were grounded due to COVID, but it's wings up again and getting back to the business of serving those who are due a welcome home. Spring in Spokane, it can showcase the best of what we have. And spring itself is a time of renewal and life. This year, in 2022, it was a renewal of sorts for a local nonprofit. And for dozens of our local veterans,
let me do one more.
A time to look back and maybe find some life and light after years of burden.
Pretty impressive. I'm glad finally, especially for Vietnam veterans, getting recognized. And, we weren't treated very nicely when we came home.
Finally, we are here. 2.5 years since our last flight. Being here and seeing all of you today is just an absolutely fantastic feeling.
On April 25th, nearly 100 men and 1 woman,
I'm anxious to go,
gathered at Spokane International Airport. Honor Flight takes veterans to Washington, D.C. to see the memorials built just for them, touted as a trip of a lifetime. For some, the flight is a lifeline.
I know it has been 2 years you've been waiting to go on this flight.
Tony Lamanna, the director of Inland Northwest Honor Flight, was excited to go.
4 postponements, we're finally going. It's been 2.5 years since we've flown, so it's double that Christmas morning feeling again to finally be going with these 100 vets.
But the 2-year delay proved costly. Dozens of veterans no longer here or unable to travel.
So we'll pay tribute to them and carry them in our hearts throughout the next 37 hours.
It hit especially hard for Bruce Hansen. He was a volunteer on this trip. Originally, though, he had planned to travel with his dad.
My dad was chosen to go on the Honor Flight 2 years ago, and they had to postpone it a few times because of COVID. And we were finally got the go-ahead to go again, and he contracted COVID and he passed away before we got to go.
Bruce went, still wanting to be with his dad in some way, making the trip to honor him, wearing a special jacket that his father made.
I was on the brink of tears almost the whole time we were gone.
Each honor flight takes hundreds of hours of planning, thousands of dollars.
This is Denny, the real commandant of the program.
And a team committed to making sure that each veteran has the experience that they need, that they want. And while it's up and flying again, the backup of flights means a long list of people wanting to go. Now the calendar and the waiting become the enemies of our veterans.
It has been a pleasure, a privilege, and of course an honor serving all of you today.
But with each season brings the potential of another flight. and of another welcome home. The next honor flight is already planned for October. The nonprofit does have some funds to take 2 more trips, but there's a waiting list, and it costs over $180,000 a flight. So we need to raise those funds. On the bottom of your screen, you'll see a QR code. It's easy to use. Take your cell phone camera and center the shot over the code. You will see a link pop up, and you can make a safe donation for any amount you want. It will all go to our local honor flight and veterans. We'll be right back.
Salute to Service, a partnership with the Kalispel Tribe, Northern Quest Resort and Casino, and KREM 2.
And it felt good to touch it and release some anger on the inside of me.
You are watching a KREM 2 special, Honor Flight. Welcome home. KREM 2 and Inland Northwest Honor Flight traveled with veterans representing 3 different wars, and each veteran has their very own reason for going. For over 90 of them on this particular flight are veterans from the Vietnam War era. We met up with one of those veterans before and during the trip to tell his story that resonates with so many others. Sitting comfortably on his deck on a beautiful Spokane day,
Well, what are we going to do?
Norm Banky describes his life as a good one.
I'd do it over again if I could. But, life was good, and I can't complain.
But don't mistake a happy life for an easy one.
I came from a little town in Kentucky. There's only 2 things going there: working on a farm or going to prison. And I didn't want neither one of them, so I went and joined the Army, and that was it. It worked perfect for me. Sarge, look at me now. I'm happy, married, got 2 wonderful kids.
Banky was 18 years old when he joined the military and not much older when he went to Vietnam.
I was what we call grunt, infantry.
50 years later, he can easily recall, in quiet conversation, with a steady voice, what it was like.
Out walking around the woods and carrying a gun and looking around, see what's going on so you can stay alive.
Banky keeps his words short, not saying much about what happened in Vietnam. But he does tell us more about what happened when he came back.
And then they put us on a bus out to San Francisco International, and we got greeted by a bunch of people who didn't like us.
It is a story often repeated about a homecoming denied. It's Banky's story and the story of so many Vietnam veterans, a backlash that left its mark, bruising the minds and memories of veterans.
I just want to go back and touch the wall and say goodbye.
And in part, that need, that hurt, brought Banky and more than 90 other veterans here.
It's an honor serving all of you today.
This Inland Northwest Honor Flight included 95 Vietnam veterans, just a 36-hour trip to the East Coast to say what needs to be said, or at times feeling what needed to be felt.
It's a relief. Come out and say goodbye and touch the wall. I'm not much of a talker, so it's just nice to come out and touch the wall and say goodbye.
The Vietnam Veterans Memorial, the wall, has well over 58,000 names on it. Each a story of a life that didn't get to unfold, stories that didn't get to be told, and goodbyes that didn't get to be said until now.
Here's a cigar, and I hope you enjoy it. I wish I had some Jameson.
Banky left 3 cigars on the wall for his buddy.
But cigars are kind of a hard thing to get over there.
So you left him a cigar for?
Today, tomorrow, and the day after that.
For all the days that Banky didn't get to see him, talk to him, or tell him what needed to be said.
And it felt good to touch it and release some anger on the inside of me from all the crap we got picked up from coming back from Vietnam. I hope it's out of my system now. The wall pulled it out of me, I hope.
The trip is not a cure-all by any means, but it is a significant piece of healing, both the wall and the welcome.
Oh, I felt like $1 million. It just felt good. I'm just glad I had the opportunity to come out and do this. It's like closing a chapter in a life.
Thank you to Norma and to all the veterans that allowed us to be there at very intense moments and trusting us to tell their stories. As the Inland Northwest Honor Flight wait list continues to grow, many of those veterans will be from the Vietnam era. This trip had a counselor standing by to help some of the veterans walk through the process and pain. It costs more than $1,800 for each veteran to travel. That cost is covered by the nonprofit. No veteran pays, so we want to continue to support the flights and hope you can help. There are 3 easy ways to donate. You can log on to KREM.com. We have an Honor Flight page posted with more information and a donation button. You can text us the word HONOR to our text line. Type in the word HONOR at 509-448-2000. We'll send a link right to your phone. Or you can use the QR code at the bottom of your screen. Use your phone camera and a link will pop up.
Salute to Service, a partnership with the Kalispel Tribe, Northern Quest Resort and Casino, and KREM 2.
The pictures you see on TV don't do justice to seeing it in real life.
You are watching a KREM 2 special, Honor Flight. Welcome home. You often hear the term brotherhood when talking about the military. There are relationships forged during service that create lifelong bonds. However, some of those bonds were already there. It's been documented in movies.
There she goes.
This story told in books. Young men raising a flag signifying the end of the battle in the Pacific and rallying a war-weary country back in the States. The photo and the statue are iconic.
God, what a statue, huh?
78 feet tall and 100 tons of metal.
This was the main reason I came down. I wanted to get my picture taken here. The proudest picture I've ever had, I think.
The Marine Corps War Memorial is what Alex Renner wanted to see the most on the Inland Northwest Honor Flight trip.
That's amazing, isn't it? All this time you see all the pictures and the John Wayne movies, and this really brings it down.
Let me do one more.
We first caught up with him at Spokane International Airport, waiting to board the plane with fellow Marines.
I want to be in the Marines forever. The Sands of Iwo Jima, that whole hero bull crap.
It's going to be great that the 3 of us, first of all, can be together.
Renner knows about brotherhood. So does this Renner and this one. Brothers by service and by birth.
We're the Renner brothers.
I didn't have a choice. I mean, my 2 older brothers went. I didn't want to look like an idiot, not go at all.
All 3 brothers served in the U.S. Marine Corps, and all 3 came together for the flight.
And I outrank them all.
It's amazing that after all these years, it still is there. You know, I'm 74. I joined when I was 17. I got out as a sergeant before I was 21.
And from that moment at the airport, they stayed in step. Each time cameras caught up with them, they were together. And while they traveled to all the memorials, it was the final stop on the schedule that captured their attention.
I just can't believe how elaborate this is, and the pictures you see on TV don't do justice to seeing it in real life. I'm in the rain, it's pouring down, and I didn't care.
The rain keeping most people inside, but these 3 celebrating a connection at the base of the very statue that captures brotherhood in bronze. And a big thank you to the Renner brothers for letting us join in some of their fun, capturing some of the great moments. And while we featured a band of brothers, we also caught up with part of the Sisterhood of Service. We met up with a Marine Corps veteran that certainly stood out in the crowd. We bring you the sole woman warrior that flew on the recent Inland Northwest Honor Flight trip. When Louise Griffith got off the plane following this year's Inland Northwest Honor Flight, she, along with her male counterparts, were greeted with cheers. She served in the U.S. Marine Corps and says this trip was more than she could have imagined. Griffith was the only female on this year's honor flight, but there are more waiting to go.
It was absolutely out of this world. It was wonderful. And this reception coming back, I don't know, I'm mind-boggled. It was beautiful. And I didn't expect the flowers and all that other stuff. It's just, it was mind-boggling. And it was absolutely the one, a lifetime I'll never forget.
Thanks to Louise and to all the women who serve our country every day here at home and around the world. You are watching a KREM 2 special, Honor Flight. Welcome home. We'll be right back.
Salute to Service, a partnership with the Kalispel Tribe, Northern Quest Resort and Casino, and KREM 2.
I think I speak for all of them. This is a remarkable experience.
You are watching a KREM 2 special, Honor Flight. Welcome home. We talk about the greatest generation, and KREM 2 was lucky enough to travel with the only World War II veteran on the flight. Emmett McLaughlin served in the war and got to walk through the World War II Memorial and reflect on his service and the loss of so many lives. At the time of this flight, Emmett was the only World War II veteran on Inland Northwest Honor Flight. However, since then, other World War II veterans have signed up to go. But it is certainly a race against time to get the veterans on flights to Washington, D.C. Each day, more than 200 World War II veterans die in our country. Honor Flight is doing its best to make sure the veterans who want to go are able to do so as quickly as possible. When Emma and the other veterans came off the plane after a 36-hour trip, they were so tired. It is an emotionally and physically grueling trip. But every one of those veterans that we talked to said it was an amazing experience, one that helped give them healing and closure. But it's not just the memorials that capture the attention of the veterans. Sometimes it's just feeling appreciated. Sometimes it's just getting a long overdue welcome home. This group of kids at Dulles International Airport may not know exactly where Korea or Vietnam are located on the map, and some of them likely haven't learned in school about the world wars. But on April 25th, they taught a group of nearly 100 veterans what it's like to feel welcome. The cheers that greeted the Inland Northwest Honor Flight brought some pretty big smiles.
I think I speak for all of them. This is a remarkable experience.
There's a group here to greet you.
The celebration got bigger and louder by the first stop on the trip.
And we heard the cheers from the kids. That's probably been the most exciting, most moving so far. And then to get here and have the kids here doing the same thing. And then, at the Air Force Memorial, what a great opportunity this has been so far.
The towering spires of the U.S. Air Force Memorial cannot dwarf the gratitude from the veterans. It's part of the mission of Honor Flight to not only take the veterans to see the memorials, but rather remind them that their service is appreciated, that they are appreciated.
Lots of love.
And if cheering groups on the ground didn't surprise them,
A lot of people love you, and a lot of people want to thank you for your service.
what happened on the plane ride home did.
We have envelopes for each of you.
There you go. Harley, Edward, letters from home. Whoa, you got a lot.
Mid-flight, Honor Flight volunteers gather at the front of the plane for mail call.
Mr. Gabbard, that's a big one.
Back in the service, veterans say they waited to see if they received word from home during mail call. Sometimes a letter came, often it did not.
Did you ever get this many letters when you were overseas?
Not at once. They speak their heart. They write their heart. And they're full of love.
But on this flight, every veteran received a package. Inside, filled with notes, handmade cards, words of encouragement.
Where's Charles?
Secretly, Inland Northwest Honor Flight reaches out to each veteran's family and the community to make mail call happen. It's a favorite of the trip.
He just read all of the letters and he said he's in pretty rough shape right now. This has just been awesome. We want to thank everybody that's been involved in getting this organized.
While the veterans continued to read their letters, a crowd began to gather.
Our daughter is surprising him. She lives in Seattle, and so he doesn't know she's here. And she just flew over for the night and flying back to work in the morning.
After 36 hours of travel, the group was glad to be back and a little stunned. Each veteran had a favorite part of the trip, For some, it was seeing a memorial and remembering their days of service.
I was really proud of it. I love it.
And for others, it was the letters.
We opened them on the flight, and I'll tell you what, it was there wasn't a dry eye anywhere. Everybody really enjoyed it. It made our service really worthwhile.
But everyone we spoke with was grateful that this time there was joy at their arrival. A real welcome home. Again, the cost for each veteran is covered by the nonprofit, but that means donations are definitely needed. On average, it costs well over $1,800 for each veteran, which means about $185,000 a flight. That's a lot of money to raise. You can donate 3 different ways. On KREM.com, we have an Honor Flight page with more information and a donation link. You can also text the word HONOR to our text line at 509-448-2000, or you can use the QR code on the screen right now. And before we say goodbye, a few notes we want to make. A special thank you to Inland Northwest Honor Flight for loving our veterans and allowing KREM 2 to partner with you. It is our honor to be part of Honor Flight. And a very special thank you to each and every photographer that travels with the group and allowed us to use so many of the pictures that captured so many perfect moments. You bring the stories to life. And thank you to all of you for watching a KREM 2 special, Honor Flight. Welcome home.